So today we're going to talk about how you can counter DB, because I know people really love this gun. It's the best, right? Especially you heavies. I know you heavies love this thing. This video will not be covering any specific playstyles or anything like that. Most of this video will be if you happen to find yourself in a 1v1 scenario against a DB user. That's kind of what this video is meant to be. So essentially how you can like live longer and maybe even kill them before they kill you. If you like this kind of content, consider giving me a like, comment, some subscription action, as I really do appreciate it. Perhaps, mayhap, even join the Discord. We would love to have more peeps in there. But with that out the way, let's get straight into the video. So to really properly counter DB, you need to understand how DB functions as a shotgun. So let's start with his damage. Here we have a heavy. He is going to eat one full ash spread from the DB. This would do, I believe, 195 damage. Ooh.
Taking damage.
Call if you could do some quick maths.
155. I'm
155 question mark?
That's what I'm on.
You mean that's how much health you have?
195.
Yeah, 195. I was about to be like 155. That sounds...
I was thinking out loud.
But yeah, 195, that's the max damage it does. Which means 195 plus 195 is 390. Which means it could 2-tap a heavy. Well, 2-tap a heavy and also 1-tap a light. Because, you know, lights only have 150. And now I'm going to put on screen right now Zap's weapons sheet, so you can see the damage and all that. 195. But we're going to revisit the damage thing in a minute. Next, we're going to talk about his fire rate. Now, I don't have like the fire rate in like terms of like seconds or anything like that, but this is the fire rate at max fire rate. So it goes bah, bah, like bah, bah. That's the fire rate. That's really important for later. Keep this in mind. Now we're going to talk about roughly the ranges in which it does like considerable damage at. So we're going to start off with the easiest thing. First, we're going to look at the pellet spread. Pellet spread really close, like pretty condensed. But once you get like about right here, roughly like 3 meters or so, it becomes a bit more like erratic. When you get like about here, which is 5 meters, is now even more spread. So 5 meters and well, anything closer than 5 meters would probably be like ideal ranges. But we're going to do this from like a 10-meter radius here. So from 10 meters, right here, if a DB user were to try to hit you from this far, you know, that's about 25, 50, 75, that's about 80-ish damage, give or take. That's not that bad. But do bear in mind that a DB user only has 2 shots. So 80 damage from there. Sure, they can 2-tap a light, but 90 damage, close enough. So they can 2-tap a light, but it's not really doing that much against a medium or a heavy, right? It still weakens them though. That is notable, but just keep that in mind. From this range, they roughly do about 90 damage. When we go by about here, which is now 7 meters, we're going from 90 to about 100 something?
143.
143. So you see, 7 meters, we're doing about 143. From this range, you can 2-tap a medium. That's pretty good. 7 meters, pretty good. You can 2-tap a medium from this range. That's pretty nice, not gonna lie.
That's gross.
Once we get to 5 meters,
Enemy over here. Taking damage.
I believe that's about half of your health. I can't see the exact number because the marker's there, but
182.
182. So from 5 meters, you can 2-tap a heavy. Again, that's pretty good. But you do got to get within 5 meters of a heavy to be able to 2-tap them, and 7 meters of a medium. Closing the gap is a little something, but again, we're going to get into that. Obviously, dash lights have a bit easier time doing all this, but we'll get into how you can kind of deal with this, like, honestly, right now. So now that we understand its range and its damage potential, how do we deal with it? This is the fun part. This is what I like to call jiggle strafing. I don't know if there's actually a term for this. I call it jiggle strafing. So the way it works is that while you're hip firing, which if you're going against a DB, they're probably in range of you to be hip firing, so you probably should be hip firing. You move faster than if you was if you ADS. So for example, if you look at me right now, I'm hip firing, I'm in hip fire mode, moving faster. If I ADS, I move a lot slower, right? Same thing here. If he's like, if he's in hip fire, he's like moving quicker. Versus if he ADSs, he's moving a lot slower. See, it's a lot slower. So what this means is that it allows for you to make your movement a little bit more unpredictable against a DB user. Because a DB user, if they're trying to kill you, they want to get as much damage as possible so they essentially can get in and out, right? If you are kind of moving really quickly like this, left and right and stuff, it becomes a little bit harder for them to actually track where you're like going. So for example, if he just keeps jiggle strafing like that, I'm gonna try to give you an example here. Okay, orbital lasers. If he keeps jiggle strafing like that, and I go like here, see, this is 5 meters, but that wasn't even like, I think it was 140? No, 180 something you said earlier? That wasn't
that was 130.
Yeah, like that wasn't even near, like close enough for me to get the 2-tap there. Which at this point, unless I do full damage, I can't 2-tap him. Which means I will have to reload, which then means I'm probably dead. Against a heavy anyway, I'm probably dead. That's the benefit of jiggle strafing. It literally kind of forces you to have to be a little bit more accurate with your shot, a little bit more patient with it. But the problem is you're going against someone that's jiggle strafing like this, you don't know where they're going. The best you can do is kind of predict where they're going, like here. And even then, that still wasn't substantial enough to be like a pretty comfortable 2-tap range. Like
143.
Yeah, 143. If I did that again, that's 286. That still isn't a 2-tap range against a heavy. So using this little jiggle strafe technique I have here, it's a bit more effective. Honestly, it's actually pretty good against a lot of other weapons too. Mostly the shotguns. It's really good against shotguns of basically any kind, even model, even KS to some degree. But this particular jiggle strafe is pretty good against like a lot of other weapons as well. And against shotguns, again, like DB, it's better than just like backpedaling like this because, well, if you're backpedaling, you're still essentially going in one direction that's relatively easy to track. So a DB user can really easily just move up and just get some easy shots on you if you're just trying to backpedal. Now, I want to mention a few things here about this method, okay? You will likely still take damage because, well, DB, you know, it's still a shotgun. You're still going to take some kind of damage, especially if you're heavy. You got a big ass hitbox. The goal of this method is to mitigate how much you actually take, so you can instead kill them before, well, they kill you. Taking into consideration fashion, taking in consideration the fire rate of DB. If you're jiggle strafing, say you're jiggle strafing and like, I don't know, let's say you're mostly going to the left, right? The moment that they shoot once, okay, they shy while you're going to the left, and because you know the fire rate goes bah, bah, right before the next shot will go off, you can then go right. And then suddenly, well, they was gonna hit you pretty hard, but then you know you went the other way. But for lights, since you have a smaller hitbox, obviously this method is a lot easier for you to do. You're smaller, you move quicker. This is way more efficient, more effective for you. To some degree, obviously you can still get fucking 1-tapped, but it is more efficient. It works better for you.
I'm dead. One of them's like 3 bar.
I missed the melee twice, bro!
Heavy's 1.
Light slam. As if.
Good shit. One behind us.
Well, and what you're aiming at is you're aiming to take no more than 109 damage. Because if you take anything more than that, like 110, anything more than that, what happens is you will get meleeed. And melee does 40 damage. So let's say a DB user shot you twice, and he managed to do 100 and let's just say 110 damage. Well, you're now in melee range. Which means, because he's a DB user, most likely he's gonna go bop, bop, and then try to melee you instead of doing that reload, because the reload takes a little minute. Same thing for a medium, since medium, well, is medium. It's also fairly efficient for them, fairly effective for them to do the whole jiggle strafing technique. Mediums, you want to take no more than 209 damage, because again, if you take 210, you are now in melee range. And for heavy, while heavy is the slowest of the bunch, this method does still work on heavy, as you would have seen from the clips I showed already as well, and from our little test here. Heavy, it still works on heavy. You're aiming to take no more than 309 damage, because once again, for the final time, if you take 310, you will get meleeed and die. I'm going to show just how it looks in practice here. I'm going to attempt to get a nice little 2-tap on him. He's just going to jiggle strafe, and we're going to see if I can get it. Let's see. That was ass. That was actually garbage. Fuck you. I'm gonna try to be very disciplined this time. Okay, I'm gonna try to be very disciplined.
I'll move out of the way of that.
Try to be very disciplined. See if I can. Well, I bet I can melee you now, but like, damn. See?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, still, like, that's not playable.
I only did 40.
Yeah, melee only does 40.
I thought I did 50.
No, it only does 40. That's what I was saying. You want to be 209. 209 for heavy, you want to be 309. As long as you don't take more than 309, you're fine. If you take 310, you're dead. Secondly, I want to add that this method probably wouldn't work too well against players who have a lot of discipline with their shots, like the really good DB players, because, well, they're probably not going to actually shoot unless they know they're going to hit you, kind of thing. That being said, it can still work against them too, because it can catch them off guard, right? It can still work. It ain't like it's not like it only works against bad players or anything like that. But just bear in mind, if you're going against someone that is really good at the game, it might not have as consistent results, right? But it is still a method that you can do that can mitigate the damage, and that's what we're aiming for once again. But that is basically it for the video. Hopefully this helps you dodge or at least mitigate some of the damage you could take from a DB user. The TLDR of this could be boiled down to be unpredictable with your movement / your strafe. And you'll be able to dodge DBs left and right, like jiggle strafing. You can also add in a crouch or a jump, like right before they shoot, and have the same effect. I have jumped over plenty of shotguns before. Like, you could definitely add in a little jump here and there, and it's really great. It also sucks when they jump over your shotgun if you're using it, because you're just like, he jumped over my bullets. Like, it is pretty cool. It's pretty cool though when you're doing that app. It's pretty cool. But yeah, try out things that works the best for you. But that's all I have for you. Once again, if you are interested, we do have a Discord where a few of us do hang out and we'd love to see new peeps. But yeah, without further ado, we bid you all adieu. You typed it out. You spelled ado wrong. Without further ado, I bid you all adieu. Take care and peace. Bye bye. I missed. Hold up. Shit, I don't use DB enough for this shit. God damn it, I don't use DB enough for this shit.